If you're having trouble making consistent progress with the harmonica, then I think I know why. And I'd like to share a simple concept with you in today's video that might change the way that you practice forever, so you can start actually making real progress. So let's jump in. So hey, my name is Jonah Fox. I teach harmonica players just like you how to play blues and rock harmonica. And as I've been working with students over the years, and just based on my experience in the past, I noticed that there's one main problem that's holding them back. And that is being focused on too many things all at once. So hear me out. When I started in music, I didn't start as a harmonica player. I picked up this later in life. I really figured out music as a guitarist when I was a teenager. And when I was learning electric guitar, I'd watch a lot of YouTube videos. There weren't as many videos back then, but there was still a lot. And that's the path that I chose because I just didn't know any better. I would try learning a lot of songs all at once. I would learn riffs. I would be practicing a whole bunch of different techniques. I just wasn't making progress, and I was frustrated. I thought that I just lacked the talent to be a good musician. Like, I wasn't good enough. I mean, I had friends that weren't struggling as hard as I was, so I assumed the problem was me. And I had a lot of passion, so I wanted to learn. I put the time in, but I was just too scattered all over the place. I felt overwhelmed and frazzled, and for a while, picking up my guitar felt like pulling my hair out. I just didn't know what to do. I was bouncing all over the place, and it just was kind of annoying because I was putting the hours in, but I wasn't getting the results that I was looking for. So then I got lessons. So there I was, 16-year-old me, walking into the guitar studio for the first time. And I was excited, but a little nervous. I mean, I expected my teacher would just tell me that I'm not cut out for this. I don't know why I felt that way exactly, but maybe you can relate. He was really friendly, and after I told him what I was doing to practice, he had this look in his eyes that told me he knew exactly what my problem was and that he saw students with my exact problem every single day. So he told me in that lesson that I needed to focus on improving my skills and my knowledge little by little by focusing on one thing at a time so I could actually make progress. Focusing on everything all at once wasn't going to get me anywhere. So that's what we started to do in our lessons. He taught me scales, and I got good at those. And then we worked on techniques one by one, slides and vibrato and pinch harmonics. Then we focused on applying those techniques and those scales to improvised playing. It felt a little slow at times, but little by little, I started getting the big picture, and my individual skills really started to work. I didn't feel overwhelmed anymore. I just felt like I was on a clear path to success, and it was inevitable that I was going to be a good guitarist. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed on the harmonica, and you are focusing on too much and not making progress, then I really need you to listen in to this next part. Lock in with me here. I'd like to introduce a concept called the circle of focus, and think about it like this. This circle represents 100% of our attention. Now, let's think about what you may be doing to improve on the harmonica. So let's say you're working on a song or two. Maybe you're doing something out of a book or something you found online. And you're also focusing on a bunch of techniques all at once, like vibrato one day, and then the next day you're trying overblows. And then another day you're still working on your bends. And then another day you're trying tongue blocking. And let's say you're also focused on improvising. Maybe you're learning a couple riffs from a YouTube video. Now, it's not like any of these things are bad on their own. They're not. If you want to master the harmonica, you're going to need to have a large variety of skills. And building up those skills will require you to focus on them. The problem is that when you work like this, you are giving just a tiny bit of your attention and time to every different aspect of your playing. This means it's really hard to choose a direction because there's so many different things that are vying for your attention. This also means that you aren't working long enough at any one of these skills to really master them and internalize them. And this doesn't mean that this is only the case if you're focusing on like 10 plus things. Even if you're focusing on just 3 or 4 things all at once, you can get stuck in the same way. So let's say all of these different skills had a progress bar, like a video game, to mastery. Obviously, real life does not work like this, but let's go with this for now. So let's say I wanted to improve my vibrato, and at the same time, I was also doing all of those different things that we talked about, like learning some riffs and improvising and bends and glissando, right? Well, in this situation, I'm only putting a tiny bit of my attention to learning my vibrato, so I only make a tiny bit of progress. And because I am not progressing in my mastery of the vibrato, using vibrato in a song or in a jam requires conscious thought. This is ultimately the big problem. We want to master skills one at a time so we can get to a point where we don't have to think about using them. So let me suggest an alternative way to approach your harmonica practice. Here we go. Choose one thing that you want to master next. This could be a technique, like we talked about, but it could also be learning a piece of music or getting the hang of a new scale. If you're working on scales, you can check out my scale cheat sheet. The link's down in the description and you can get all the tabs. Anyways, choose one thing to work on. And when you're working on that one thing, just focus on that. The way that I do this personally and how I teach my students is through a process I call intentional improvising. And so this is where you focus on one thing while you actually just play the harmonica over backing tracks. You use improvising to practice that skill. That's a topic for another video, but for now, I just want you to get the basic idea. Focus on one thing at a time. And then after only a couple days of focusing on that one skill, your mastery of that skill will increase. So eventually you will have mastered it well enough so you don't have to think about using it in a conscious way anymore. It's just going to flow from you effortlessly without thought. So to implement this, just ask yourself, what do I want to fix about my playing or add to my skill set? Choose something and focus on that for at least a week, at least in the beginning, or until you feel like you've got the hang of that skill and you can use it naturally. We actually have to learn it well enough so we can apply it to the songs we're playing and to the improvising that we're doing. Now, after that, you take it out of your circle of focus and you focus on the next thing. If you learn in this way, you won't feel overwhelmed. And making progress will just feel like walking up a set of stairs directly to your goal. That's about all for now. I'll see you next time. Peace out.